Hi guys, Ray from City Fan TV here again for another live stream. Let's try and get my beautiful ball bounce into the picture and put a bit of branding up, guys. Put some branding, and if you are new to the channel, it would be fab, really would be fab if you could subscribe to the channel. Let's get that push on to 1,000. Oh, let's take that back off because I'm going to get Bernard on tonight. I've got Bernard waiting in the background. So I'll bring him out right now. We're going to talk. I'll tell you what we're going to talk about first, and I'll bring Bernard on. I know he's just waiting in the wings. We're going to talk about the City Extra comments about Peterborough and whether you think they're disrespectful, whether you think they're acceptable, or whatever. Hi, Ali. Hope you're well. Let's bring Bernard on. Hey, big man. How you doing, Bernard?
Hello, team. How are we doing?
Volume off. Let's put Bernard's volume on. Is that better?
Can you hear me?
We are on. I'm just messing about with all my settings, make sure there's no noise set up. We're working.
It's a nice jumper, mate. It's very warm.
It's not. Well, the funny thing is, actually, it's a jumper that I used to wear when I was living in France, and now my eldest lad, he's taller than me, which is a bit of a worry. Okay, he's a few inches taller than me already, and he's only 14, so he's still growing. And so I give him a lot of, a load of my clothes because I thought, well, I've got too many clothes. So I give him, and he just chucks them back at me. So this is one I find lying on the floor in the hall. So I thought, well, it's too nice to chuck away. It's nice to wear.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
It's nice. It's nice. It's a little bit comfy. I filled it well. I bought
snug. Let's just say it's snug.
Snug is a good word. Probably bought it about 6 or 7, 8 years ago when I was a little bit younger and a little bit more, in shape. And now my shape has filled the jumper nicely. So anyway, there you go. Hi, Harry. Let's guys. I'm going to get cracking. I'm trying to get Bernard on as a half screen, but a bigger half screen. If you see what I mean. I don't think I'm going to get it the way I want it. So we'll get Bernard on half like that. Half and half. Better than a half and half scarf. Two bald guys. Half and half. Look, guys, you might have heard, obviously we drew Peterborough in the 5th round of the FA Cup. And I don't know the names of the guys from City Extra. But it was
I forgot the lad. I've followed him a lot. I've followed him for ages. I followed him for about 3 or 4 years when he first started off. But I forgot his name now. I'm not sure. I'm sure some of the guys know it.
Some of the guys might remember. I do used. Funny thing is, before I came on, I would have remembered his name. Now I totally forgot him. Hi, Alexandros Kalispira, too, buddy, all the way from Greece, and evening to Blackpool Blu-ray, all the way from Blackpool.
Blu-ray.
I've got to say a bonsoir, Jordan and Lewis. That's it. I've got to say a bonsoir to
Jordan and Lewis.
Because that's the nearest I get to Paris, looking at the Blackpool Tower.
Well, I remember when they used to do it from a garden shed, and they used to do beer things, didn't they? And they used to have a special beer. Oh yeah, they used to have a special. So they did the things. And they used to have a beer, they used to do a special beer and give it marks out of 10. So they did little things like that, which was quirky, which I liked. Anyway, I like different, you know what I mean? And obviously once he joined City Extra, I didn't really listen to him that much, to be honest with you.
I didn't know. I'd never heard of them before City Extra came along. So I'd heard of City Extra. And then later on, I heard of these guys who are doing a bit of YouTube stuff as well. And obviously that City Extra has exploded. It's the biggest, I think it's the biggest news aggregator, City news aggregator out there. It's bigger than City Chief. It blasted City Chief into not oblivion, but left it well behind. And so you could argue they're potentially the biggest independent City people out there, really, after the club, because City Extra's got 200,000, about 230 or 240,000 followers on Twitter. I don't know what their YouTube channel. I don't watch it.
I'll 40,000 or something. I think the YouTube.
They've done really well because when I
a bit behind the esteemed company, just a bit behind him.
I think I looked at them about 2 years ago, and they had about 6,000. And so obviously, with them putting out regular content, with them having a huge Twitter following, It's only
they have a good setup as well. You know, they're very technically minded. I'm, you know, like me. I'm not. You're better than me. I'm just pretty basic. But you know, obviously the younger guys, they're only young, aren't they? I think he's in his 30s. I think
yeah, the young guys. There's a lot to it. Obviously, they're a bit more au fait with technology than us, and I don't know what their lives are like. Our lives are different. You know, we've got other responsibilities. I don't know. I'm not saying they've got no responsibilities or whatever, but you know, we're at different stages in our lives. You know, kids and everything else, and work that goes along. So I don't know anything about their background, so I'm not having a pop at them. You know, please don't worry. If I wanted to have a pop, I would, but I'm not having a pop.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have even seen it unless people started reposting it. That's the only way I saw it. Yeah.
So this has popped up. So I'm gonna look. I'm going to read what he's basically said. So he's sat there. I mean, I guess this is like Goldbridge. It's from a longer video, and someone's just taken out the best bits, or in this case, the worst bits, and put it out there. Look, it's had. I'll go through why they did it later. So he starts off by saying, "What is a Peterborough?" Okay, it's a bit naughty. What is a Peterborough? Who is a Peterborough? Where is a Peterborough? Where is this football club? Then he's clicking away. The Posh. The Posh are in the Championship, and they're 22nd out of 24. These are shit. These are bad guys. These are bad. So that's all it was. It was 24-second clip. And the thing is, and a lot of, basically, and most of the comments I see are from older City fans, our age, you know, 40s, 50s, 60s. And because they're the ones I follow on my timeline and stuff like that. And, you know, to a man, the older City fans not happy with this. I've not seen what the younger people have said, but to a man, the older City fans are really unhappy. You got that, I forgot his name, HTL Co, the Crystal Palace one with tons of followers. He's said, you know, 99.9% of City fans would cringe or be appalled or whatever. And I think, from my point of view, it's true, because you're giving, you really, it's entitlement, it's arrogance, and it's, you know, I'm all for banter, but in this day and age, maybe 20 years ago, we'd have shrugged it off and laughed it off and let it go. I think in this day and age, the world has moved on. You know,
I mean, if it had been United, if it had been United, he said the same thing, we would have all laughed. We would have agreed, because we know that's just that's banter. You know, we know they are pretty poor at the moment. Of course they are, but at the end of the day, we have a right to say that. But a team that we never play and fans that we don't see much of, and you know, all right, they're not doing so well. I mean, just perhaps have to think a little bit. It has an effect, of course it does. I'm sure they've not lost any follow. I'm sure they've not lost anything. They've probably gained things. That's how the world works now, as we know, clickbait and all this sort of thing. And he is a good lad. I know he's a good lad. You know, from listening to him, I've never spoken. I think we actually tweeted each other a couple of times back in the day. You know, we'll do this, we'll do that one day, and we never did. And he seems like he's funny. I mean, they are funny. They're funny guys. They used to make me laugh. Say, I just don't have the time now, like yourself, to listen to all these different things. I've got my own stuff to do. But I just think it is a little bit disrespectful. I mean, you know, Peterborough, you know, they're 22nd, they're higher than we were at our lowest point. So it's not like laughing at them, but you know, they've been around a long time. And for a lad of his age as well to not, and I don't think he did it to say he didn't, you know, when he was saying that what's Peterborough, where's it? I honestly thought he didn't know, you know, he'd never heard of Peterborough. I mean, sure, if he's a football fan, surely you've heard of Peterborough. I don't care how old you are, you must have heard of Peterborough as a football team.
I mean, I could tell you Peterborough right now. Darren Ferguson, manager, he's been there about 4 times. He's Alex Ferguson's son. You kind of, if you're into football, in a little way, you'll know that. You'll know that Adrian Durham from Drive, he's a Peterborough fan, isn't he? Yeah. So you'd know these things if you're involved, or if you're, and they are very much involved in football. So I don't think he didn't know. I'll be shocked if he didn't know Peterborough existed as a club, where they were. You know, I can accept if you don't know your geography. Yeah, We struggle with that on the Ball from the Blue podcast. You guys had pretty much no idea. Well, I'm not sure about you, Bernie, but Colin had no idea where Peterborough was.
Yeah.
They were trying to work, tell Mike, because Mike wants to know. They were trying to tell him where it was. I knew because I was there last summer. I was doing a gig in Peterborough, and I've been over to Lincolnshire lots of times in the last few years working, and I do a lot of driving to London down the A1, so I know where Peterborough is.
I mean, Jack Lee's saying there, as a guy under 30, what is a Peterborough? I think what is a Peterborough quite funny. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it is the shit thing. That's all that obviously has took offence with people, and obviously Peterborough fans have took offence at it, which is fair enough. But as I said, if we'd said, it's United, all their shit will beat them. We wouldn't even bat an eyelid. So it's a very funny thing. I mean, banter and this sort of thing is very, very borderline, isn't it? And obviously, as I say, I'm not down on him. I don't really know the lad, but it's just something I wouldn't say, you wouldn't say, a lot of people wouldn't say. But as you say,
I have more respect for them.
He is a genuinely funny. He used to make me laugh all the time when I used to listen to him in the garden shed. He used to be very, very funny and quaint. And obviously, when they went big and joined City Xtra, and I don't follow City Xtra because I did at one time, but I don't. Some of the stuff they put out, I don't like, so I don't follow him. I just don't follow it. Some of the stuff they put out, I get second hand, and it's fine. It's okay, but occasionally they'll just go over that. For me personally, they'll just go a little bit above what they should be doing. But
I mean,
that's how it is.
The thing is, when you make jokes, you want to get close to the line. I accept that. I mean, I think all comedians do that. And occasionally, when you're trying to be edgy, trying to be out there, you go over the line. I've done it plenty of times myself. All right, I'm not even funny, but you go over that line, and you don't maybe realize at the time. But I think you're right. It's an age thing as well. The older fans, right? The what is a Peterborough? And that, okay, we'd let that go, but it's when they call them shit, and I think that is totally disrespectful. And it's right. If the boot was on the other foot, they would have hated it. If Peterborough fans had said that about City, if the boot was on the other foot, they'd have. A lot of the younger fans who were saying, it's a bit of banter, it's all. The Leicester fan that went on the Forest pitch yesterday and started punching the players, I bet you he weren't in his 50s. Yeah. And so the younger fans, here's the thing, it's easy and it's fun when you give it out. But when you're asked to take it back, they can't take it. And I think that's one of the problems. And people are coming on and saying it was a joke, incredible overreaction. The overreaction, it's not an overreaction. I'm commenting on what basically I've seen from a dozen people, or more than a dozen actually, criticizing what these guys did or what Lewis did. So it's not my reaction. There's some of my reaction, but I'm echoing what a lot of older City fans who, all of them season card holders for many, many years. Some of the guys, Paul from Prestige Car Repairs, he said, don't follow him, it's not my bag. Other people, I know people in their 50s, 60s, older fans, even in their 30s and 40s, who said it's too far. And the whole thing about it, whether they wanted it or not, it's got what they needed. They got over 1 million views on that. Over 1 million views. And they will have, I'm sure, picked up fans, maybe younger fans from other clubs who would have said, hey, that's a bit of a laugh. But as I say, if you turn it around, if somebody had said that about City, most of the people here saying it's a banter, don't worry about it, would have been absolutely brassed off about it, really angry, and some of them would have been ready for a bit of fisticuffs. I mean, it's that bad now. So, if you're going to give it, you got to take it. And I don't think people can take it. And if you can't, don't give it. And, I'll read through some comments because I want to see what people are saying. Obviously, we've got a wide spectrum of ages on the channel. People say it was meant as a joke, doesn't tell us what the fella's like. It's part of football banter. Capel says it's just a joke, incredible overreaction. City fans have a very dark sense of humour, Capel. Very dark sense of humour, okay? But we also... You know what? Yesterday, there was no City fan that I saw, no one I know, was making fun of Munich yesterday. Not a single one. We've got the dark humour, but we've all, and a lot City fans said this is the one day I will not say anything bad about Man United. Okay, so most people know where that line is. You don't go over that line, but some of the look, maybe we were the same when we were younger. We got older, and we're being hypocrites now or whatever. But we'd have behaved, we behave differently now. So. Jack says, "Gone to 30 myself, saying what is a Peterborough wasn't a slur. That's not the issue, but but no Barry Fry. So you know your history." And Blackpool Blu-ray says, "Don't think anyone is overreacting. All the time we played Peterborough was in the 91 Cup run. But it was there. We won 1-0. Who scored? Do you remember?
Was it Booth?
I
can't remember offhand, mate.
I was too young to go, Bernard. I was too young. I'd have got lynched if I'd gone. I was 12 years old, mate. I'd have got murdered.
Well, I started going at 13. Anfield was the first game with my mate at 13 years old. That was fun.
No. It was hard enough, hard enough going to Main Road when I was a teenager with my own. The thing is, obviously, things are different now. But my in those days, you had a lot of hooliganism, a lot of violence, a lot of racism, and we would get beat up on the way to school, on the way home from school. So, going to a football match with 40,000 people and all that violence already, there's no way my old man was letting me go anywhere. I got to the odd game because we lived in Oldham, got to the odd game at Oldham and a few of the grounds, actually, when I was in my late teens, because my dad worked with a lot of clubs. He worked with City, Stockport, Bolton, Bury, Burnley, I think, Oldham, and a few others. So I'd actually get tickets to these grounds. So I'd go there, or they'd slip me in through a door for free. So, but I was a teenager when I started the odd game at City. We used to go with a load of mates. Kieran's had a go at some Liverpool fans. That's it, mate. Remember, that Liverpool were formed by a Conservative mayor, and it was just to make money. When you Liverpool fans have a go about history, throw the history back at them. They didn't win. Liverpool got big in the 60s. They didn't win that much, and 70s and 80s. So that's it, Kieran. You go slagging, because as I said, we would have taken it as disrespectful when someone has a pop at City, we're all ready to fight back and defend our club. So you can't,
I'd be interested. I mean, all these comments about it's banter. It seems to be the younger City fans. I mean, have many Peterborough fans saying that, "Oh, it's just banter." What's the problem? Or are they all coming out and being a bit upset about it? So if you upset someone, surely that's telling you something that it's not particularly banter.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, banter's not one. Banter has to be two-way. And if people are saying, if your own fans are criticising you for it, okay, and yes, I agree. Again, it's an age thing, and the opposition fans don't take it as banter, then it's not banter. Banter's not one way. If you call me a slaphead and you tell me it's banter, and I don't take it as a joke, and I'm not ready to give you a bit of banter back and call you Specky Four Eyes or something, but banter's a two-way street. You can't just insult somebody and tell them, "Hey, it's banter. You got to accept it. Whatever I say about you, as long as I say it's banter, you take it on the chin." You can't do it. Throw a bit of racism in there. Oh, it's banter. A bit of sexism, ageism, or whatever. It's banter. No, it's got to be two-way. And
you can pick and choose your battles, don't you? As I said, I mean, when we do little things, previews of games, and we say, with respect to Fulham, let's face it, we should hammer them. All respect to Fulham, they're a good team, but we should be better than them. That's just a statement. But if you're playing someone like Liverpool, and you say, we'll murder them, the shit, no problem, and it's not, and it's fine. That's fine, because at the end of the day they're not. But when you're saying something that you're qualifying as something and saying they are, and you're thinking that, and that's how it came out, it's not right for me. You've got to cover what you say and be careful of other people's feelings in football or in real life, and a lot of people don't seem to have that skill anymore, of doing it. We all make mistakes, of course we do. We all say silly things, especially when we're drunk. I mean, if we had a few pints. I've said
I'm
many
sure,
things.
I'm
I've
sure
sung many
you're-
things when I've had a few pints, but you know what? You've got to be careful.
I'm sure. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but I would think that, like me, when you were younger, you might have been a little bit more hot-headed,
Yeah,
and might have reacted to something like this. You know, I've been there when someone's looked at. Look, I'll be honest. I've been there when someone's looked at me in a bad way, and that was enough. That was enough to set me off. You know, I'm over there, mate. But as Kieran said, we should be better than this. We should be better.
It was Tommy Booth. Blackpool's just confirmed it, so I was right. Flipping heck, I wasn't even sure myself, but
Look, King Reactor says, why not talk to the lads privately? I know people have talked to lads in the past about some of the stuff they do. Okay, I know that some people have talked to them privately about this, because a lot of the older fan base are not happy with some of the. I mean, here's what I was seeing on my timeline when people say I don't follow them. This is why. It's because of a lot of the crap they put out there, because they hide behind on their aggregator side. They hide behind, oh, it's news that's out there. It's, you know, wherever we see anything to do with City, they pop it out. That's news. That's what we do. We're an aggregator site. But people are saying you're putting a load of rubbish out that is actually sometimes detrimental to the club or to the image of the club and the fans. You know, it's like your blood. It's like your family. You want to protect City because it's your club. Same way Liverpool fans will protect their club. Liverpool, all fans want to protect their club. They feel a sense of duty to do that. So the lads have been talked to, I suspect, several times privately by lots of older City fans who have got a lot of status and respect. I'm not going to name any names because I know someone has said I've spoken to them personally a few times about this, but they keep doing it. Why? The reason they keep doing it, and you know, they maybe say we're respectful of what you do, but we're going to keep on doing it because it makes money. That's bottom line. You know, and look, maybe we would be different if we were making the money that they were making from what they're doing. It obviously works, so they keep doing it, and you keep making money. So once you're doing it, you've got to keep doing that, because if you back down, someone else will come along and take over your mantle, you know. And so you see with the AFTV, they've got to keep up this craziness. You know, and look what's happened. You know, poor old Claude, you know, a lot of people were giving him a hard time, you know, and look what he happened to him. Mr. DT, that kind of individual, he's in a slammer for some despicable things. Troops is, you know, not the nicest of people from what I've seen. Even someone like Ty, you know, okay, you know, I only met him maybe a couple of times, but he was a miserable old git and rude and aggressive because City had beaten them, and we beat them comfortably, I think, at their place 2-0, and they thought they had some entitlement to win. They had some entitlement to beat us. So he was not in a very good mood, and he was pretty rude to me. And obviously, I'm a City fan. We just won. I'm in a good mood. Sun's out. Got my shades on. You know, I'm all jovial and all that. And he didn't like that. You know, and I wasn't being disrespectful to him, but you know, you don't want me to be miserable. Oh, City just beat Arsenal 2-0 first game of the season. I'm not going to be miserable about it. But so a lot of people, and then what ends up happening is you've then got to keep at that level. So whatever got you that success, you've got to keep doing it. And if you step back, there's loads of people waiting to step up. You know, there's so many YouTube channels, so many people want to get into the media. There's always, and you see all these rants on. I see little videos on Twitter. That Indian guy, Chelsea fan, and I don't listen to them. I watched a couple with the volume off, and it's like he's going to have an aneurysm. His head's going to explode, and these people are just pushing. But that's what gets views. So doing something like that, it's got them 1 million views. They're happy. I don't know them. I can't speak for them, but I will. I don't think they're displeased with the overall reaction, because if you didn't know about them before, 1 million views on Twitter, more than 1 million, you do know about them now. You know, I didn't listen to this, but people were asking TalkSport to get involved and interviewed them or slagged them off or whatever for this, especially with it on because I remember someone tagged in TalkSport Drive, which is, I don't know if Adrian Durham's still on it or is that Goldstein, but Durham, his club is Peterborough. So they thought maybe he would really want to get involved with that. And, can you see where this goes? So you got more than 1 million views on Twitter, and then you go on the potential on the radio to defend yourself. Generally, no publicity is bad publicity. Even if you've done something bad, it's people know about it. So I'll just go through some more comments. Blackpool Bluery, obviously talking about Tommy Booth scored. Blackpool Bluery was there. You guys have been to them all these games. I do have an admiration and a bit of jealousy, because obviously, my time was going to see City was sporadic. What with my dad not letting me go, what with playing football myself on a Saturday, working down south and playing football. I always said I would much rather play a sport than watch it. I'd much rather be involved. If I'm not involved, I want to see it live. And if I can't see it live, I'll watch it on the telly. That was always my process. And then living in France, I didn't get a lot of time. But, back in the UK, I would go to as many games as I could, especially when we were on Man City Fan TV, go to as many games as away games as possible. Let's see what Blackpool Blu-ray says. They played in the red and black stripes back then. Peterborough have rebuilt very well under Darren Ferguson, says Jack Lee. And this is a massive cup tie for the club. A lot of clubs have financial problems, because that's the nature of the beast, especially the lower down the tree you go. That's the nature of the beast. Almost everybody is trying too hard. They're trying too hard to be successful. They're taking risks. And then that can cause problems with the club. Kieran, good point from Kieran. I'll put this up there. Humble in victory, the City way always. I like that comment. Alexandra says, we lost a young guy, 19 years old in Greece. We have lots of violence in Greece, unfortunately, and that makes me sad. He supports Aris Thessalonica. It's a huge thing in Greece. I feel so sad. Look, we lost someone at City on after the Fulham game with a heart attack. Yeah. And it happens, but it's a sad thing. But you shouldn't be having violence and anger, and what does it achieve? You'd like to think we've become more civilized than we were talking on the Bolt from the Blue the other day about going to games and people having Stanley knives and carpet cutters and whatever and other weapons with them back in the day. And now you'd like to think we're a bit more sensible and
we've said out, it's creeping back in again. All this thing. I mean, I was at the game, obviously against Fulham, and there was 50 guys around me. I recognised about 3 of them, and I'm always in the same spot with my season card. It was unbelievable, and mostly young lads. And I bet if they watched 15, 20 minutes of the game, that's all they did, because all they did was throw abuse at the Fulham fans. Right. And that's all they did all the game, and that was it. They never watched the match. They just, all young lads just didn't even sing, so the atmosphere wasn't great, because all they were doing was doing the gesticulating to the Fulham fans across the way, and it's just, I couldn't see the point. It ruined it for me a little bit, I'll be honest with you, against Fulham. I thought it was absolute rubbish atmosphere. I just didn't enjoy it very much because of just the makeup of the crowd, and they weren't kids, they were all teenagers or early 20s, stuff like that.
What you say is, I totally agree. You say, what is the point of that? What is the point? I used to criticize fans. Okay, look, you buy a ticket, you can do what you like. As long as you don't have a detrimental effect on somebody else, you can do what you like. If you want to leave after 70 minutes, that's your choice. Yeah, I might not, clap for it. I might not like it, but that's your choice. You pay for your ticket. You can go and do what you go as you please. And people slagging them off and abusing people when they're leaving after 70 minutes, it's their business. Let them do what they want. It's their money. They paid for the ticket. Let them do what they want. But I used to, some away games, I used to go there. I remember you go on the concourse. It was probably at Palace. I remember Palace, this happened. And some other, where was it? Swansea. You can have sometimes, honestly, hundreds of people on the concourse drinking whilst the game's on. And you got tickets that are hard to get hold of. Those Swansea ones were hard to get hold of in the cup, the Swansea tickets. And you've got, honestly, scores and scores of people just boozing away, not even watching the monitors, not on. And you think, what's the point? If you want to have an away day, why don't you have an away day? Go to a pub and do that, and let somebody who wants to go and watch the game get a ticket, because all those games were sellouts. You know, Newport I went to, you couldn't get a ticket for love nor money. I got 2 tickets for Newport, and on the supporters bus on the way down, I think they had 30 odd tickets still available. They had to get rid of them. It was crazy, and I knew people in Manchester who would have chopped their hands off to get a ticket for that game. Same with Swansea. Anyway, so let's go through some comments. Try and catch up. They've all done this for money, says Shannon. I think so. You think that makes them happy? All that abuse they've got over that, Shannon? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I didn't see any point asking them to come on and defend themselves. I don't think they'd bother. But they've done it for a reason. Either they're stupid or they've done it for a reason. And people want publicity. Look, if I could get 1 million views on one of my videos, I wouldn't go over the top. I wouldn't go over that. But I'd love to have even 10,000 views. But you know, I said when we were doing Man City Fan TV, and when I went off and did this one, that you can get more views by being over the top, being obnoxious, being horrible, and you'll get, you know, you'll probably make reasonable money, especially in the days when there weren't many City YouTubers out there. But look at me, I'm in my 50s. I don't want to do that. I don't really want to do that. Mark Goldbridge is in his 40s. They're making very, very good money, which is why they keep doing it. They're not going to grow up, because if he starts to be sensible, he's chopping off his supply line of money. Kieran says, will those pups you bossed even have been born since Arsenal won the Premiership? So, going back to that Arsenal thing I did about 3 years ago, a few good Man City channels there who don't do it for the sake of clout. Absolutely, King Reactor. You don't need to. Bernard's not doing it for the money. I'm not. Most YouTube people I know are not, whether they're City or not City, they're doing it for that. They're not doing it for the money. They're doing it for things like this. You chat with your mates. You know, it's an opportunity to meet new people as well, and have a chat and have a bit of fun and chat about football, especially during lockdown when you couldn't go and meet people and chat about football. And a ton of new YouTube channels came out of nowhere because people had their time in their hands, and they missed the mates. They not just missed the mates that they knew, the mates that they would have made in that time as well by going to games or down the pub or whatever. And so you meet new people and chat with them, and you miss all that. So a lot of things came out. Kieran's still going on about that. We'll pass to the Arsenal fans. I do laugh about it. But look, that was my most viral, if you can call it that, video with about 55,000 views. And it wasn't even on my channel. It was on the Neeks channel. And Neeks used to get, at the time, if he got 20 views, I'm not being disrespectful here, but in those days, you know, I went on some of his videos, he had hardly anybody watching. So suddenly he's got 45, 50,000 watching this one. I think his caption was good. You know, we had a fight. Well, I don't think we had a fight. We argued with them anyway. So, yeah, Blackpool Blu-ray says he wouldn't miss a game for anything. They don't go to matches anymore, but stay at home to make money out of City. Could never do that. What's the point? And I've said that before, you know. You go to as many games as you can, you know, whenever you can, because you don't know when it's going to be over. It's like playing football. You know, I played as long as I could. I would play till I was. When did you stop playing football, Bernard? I'll ask you that.
Stop playing? Well, yeah, pretty early actually. I got a bit fed up with the pressure, to be honest. Yeah, we were doing quite well, and I got fed up of league season in, season out, having to win. I like playing football when there's nothing on it, and we were doing okay, and that was extra. So yeah, about 33, so about 1992, 1993, something like that.
I think I stopped in my 20s for a bit. I was playing for this team, and then I just got annoyed with them because they kept playing me out of position. Kept me playing in midfield or on the wing. I wanted to play fullback because that was my best position. But they kept. It was when there's cliques in a club where there's a group of them and they're all doing what they want. And I used to, look, I used to argue with people. I mean, you probably wouldn't believe that, but I was a wholehearted footballer. I expected everybody to put the effort in because you're playing as a team. You know, like the guy who would from midfield, he would bust a gut to get forward when we were attacking, so he had a chance of scoring, and then he'd walk back. That really used to do my head in. You know,
Kieran wants to know if you were an inverted fullback.
No, see my biggest attribute, the best bit about me was my effort. You know, I would give it everything. I might not have been very good. It might not have been very fast. You know, the speed was a killer for me. I had some brains, but not being fast enough and not being tall and strong and all that, you know, it limited me to what I could achieve. I used to play in the day of the clogger. You know, I was not one for passing the ball to one of my teammates. I firmly believed if the ball was as far away up the pitch as possible, the opposition couldn't score. That was it. If I kick it off the pitch, doesn't matter. If it's not on the pitch, they can't score. And all I was bothered about was some selfishness because I didn't want anybody to score down my side. You know, down my wing, no one scoring. And then, you know, help protect your goal and your team after that. But that was it. There was no finesse with me. There's not a lot of pass. When I actually
said you sound a bit like Zabaleta.
Zabaleta had a bit more skill and a bit more hair than me. But when I started playing again, then I used to do all the five-a-side stuff and things like that. Then I started playing again in my 40s. And I played as a veteran, they call me, over 45s for this club. Same thing happened. You got, you know, guys who as lazy as anything. Look, I remember when I used to play. I remember one game. This was in my 20s. I was playing left back, and we had a corner. So I was up there for the corner. So I'd made the run up there to help win the corner in the first place. Up there for the corner, standing on the edge of the box. They broke. The lazy sods on my team just walked. I was the only person who legged it back. You know,
I do get a Terry Phelan vibe from you.
Yeah,
Terry Phelan.
I would give it everything. And the thing was, I'd legged it back. I mean, I was up and down. I was seriously up and down the pitch. And I got there back, and I was so tired. The guy just, you know, I was just striving everything to block him. He just cut inside me. And because I was going full pelt, I just ran and slid past him, and he turned inside me and scored. But I would give it everything. And I used to have a go at my teammates. I said, you know, in those days, guys, you might not have heard of this. Football used to have a totally different offside rule. If you're offside, if you're, you know, and not interfering with play, you're still offside. I used to have a go at people because I said, look, you know, we were a crap team. If we have a chance and you're offside, we're busting our guts here. So, you know, but anyway, I went back into my 40s, and you still had that clique-in team, guys who didn't want to run, and they complained about whatever people who were not as technically skillful as them were doing. But then, if you're greedy, why have I got these guys who haven't got the skill? I used to hate that. If someone is trying their best and they haven't got the same skill set or the ability as you, why are you having a go at them? They're doing the best they can. They're helping you out. Because guess what? If these three guys you're having a pop at didn't turn up, you'd be playing with 8 or 9 players. So leave them be. And I remember one guy, I can't remember where he was from, so I won't guess. I remember I'm left back. If you didn't pass the ball to his feet or within a yard of him, he never bothered to chase the ball. Never. And he would criticize you for it. When he did a lousy pass or something wrong or was greedy, I remember. I'm going to finish on my history. I'll tell you one game. I'm on the left back, and he was up there. So I passed him the ball, okay, and it went over his head. He just turned around and gave me some abuse, okay, because it wasn't, you know, he's about 6 foot, about 5'11", 6 foot, and it went past him. So I was probably 30 yards away from him, okay, and it went over his head, and it went down towards the right-hand side. He didn't bother. He just gave me some shit. And I actually was the one who chased the ball. I was the one who chased. And I remember that game, I was playing left back, okay? We scored a goal when I was on the right wing crossing the ball in. And that's how much football meant and playing meant. So I expect people, I did digress, but I expect people to give, not to. I want you to give it all, and that's why I love sport. I used to say, it doesn't matter how good you are.
If you think about when City were rubbish, absolute garbage, we were shit. Let's be honest about it. And obviously, we accepted that and we got on with it, because that's how we were. And all it needed at Main Road in the old days was a crunching tackle. A City player did a good tackle. He had the crowd up. The crowd were, right. They got behind the team again because that's all we wanted to see. We wanted to see a bit of passion. We wanted to see a bit of fight. And that's all we ever asked for. We didn't ask for trophies. It's wonderful to have the trophies now. But I say we just used to have that. I think it was that Stoke game, wasn't it, in the 99 season, where literally it was sort of plodding along, and I can't remember who did the tackle. One of the City players did a fantastic tackle, and the whole ground erupted. It just drove them on to win that, and then obviously the rest is history, sort of thing. But that's all it took.
In those days, we used to celebrate a crunching tackle. I mean, how things have changed. Yeah, I love that. I loved when even when people like Pacey, the people who give it everything, like you say, feeling. We had players who,
like Peterborough. Let's get to Peterborough against us. That's what they're going to celebrate. If they beat us, absolutely amazing, fantastic. But they'll celebrate when their guys crunch into ours, and it's not a foul or a crunch. Of course they will, and that's quite right. That's as it should be. That's exactly how it should be.
Yeah. Would have been the same if when we were playing United or someone who's going to thrash us in those days. You do something good and you're on top of the world. Blackpool Blu-ray. I love this. I'm gonna put this up. And this is wrong. You laugh at it, but it's wrong. Someone said City fans were throwing pies at Fulham fans. £5 a pie. What? No, I've got to say that's. I don't like that. Yeah,
I think it was a lady Fulham fan had claimed this. From what I saw, had claimed she got hit by a pie, which it's pathetic, absolutely pathetic. Of course it is, but
people do it.
I don't know. Yeah, I say for £5 a pie. Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got richer fans than I thought, to be honest with you, but it's not good.
I've got to say something about Nathan. I don't know who this Nathan Hamer is. Okay, I have no idea. Okay, honestly, Nathan, what he says you sound him very jealous. Why would I be jealous? I'm just giving an honest opinion.
It's a subject. It's a subject that's appeared. Obviously, thousands of people have shown an interest. 1 million people have shown an interest because this thing's been watched. As City fans, we're just having an opinion on it, good and bad, whichever. And if anyone thinks it did the right thing, I'll go. They're happy with that. I'm fine with them thinking that it's happy. It's just not our way. And obviously,
I did put it out there. I said anybody wants to think. Come on. I put the link here. I put the link out on Twitter. Anybody wants to come on and say it was wrong, entitled to come on. Anybody wants to come on and say it was right, come on. I put the link out there. I've not hidden it. The link's in the top of the comments and on Twitter. So anybody wants to come along, they can do it. Jealous? No. I stopped doing a lot of YouTube stuff probably last year. I think I went through weeks or several weeks of not putting any content out. So I don't do a lot of YouTube stuff, and it's not my bag. The YouTube stuff was a bit of fun, and I'm sure it still is with you. It was a bit of fun. It was not with the intention or the expectation of making a lot of money out of it. It was a bit of fun, And yes, I got a few bits and pieces on radio and TV and various podcasts and other people's YouTube channels and all that. I did a bit of writing as well, and it was a bit of fun. And it was a phase in my life that for a while it was a bit of fun, and you enjoyed it. I've moved on. I've got lots of other things to do with my life and lots of other things. And now we're back out of lockdown. I've got a lot of work to do. I've got kids to bring up. So, I'm unfortunately not able to go to as many games, but I still like having a chat with the guys from the Bolt from the Blue and chat with Bernard and other people who occasionally will come on the channel and stuff like that. And what do we talk about? We talk about City stuff that's in the news, and that's in the news. It's not jealousy. I mean, sorry, Nathan, it sounds like you want to place a chip on my shoulder, and there isn't one. I'm just being honest. And actually, most of the guys are going along with that theme. Let's have a look. A lot of stuff from Kieran. I can't read it all, Kieran, mate. Hey, Modine, you here? It's all going back to Cityitis. Oh, don't bring Cityitis into it. Don't bring Stuart Pearce. In the 2000s, I remember I was working in an office. Oh, it was my business. And my financial director, he was a big United fan. And occasionally, I remember going to one match with him, and he came to a City match with me. I think we went to Blackburn away. That was for the United. I think Rooney scored a scorching goal. And I said, right, mate, I've been to one game with you. That's enough. Standing there with United fans. But we were good mates in those days. But it was really tough for me because City were crap. City were crap. And then we started getting better. We had people like Stephen Ireland and Alano and whatever. We were getting better. Then I sold the business and we moved on. But, we went through some tough times. And honestly, but good, half-decent people, they had some respect and not to take it too far. They take the mick out of you and you accept that, but not to take it too far because there's a line that would, really annoy you. Absolutely, Jack. Everybody has their opinions, and anybody who wants to say, "Hey, look, guys have said it's a bit of banter, it's mild or whatever," they're entitled to that opinion. And as old guys, we're entitled to ours as well. Everybody's entitled to opinion. So it's something that I'm not going to turn around and say your opinion's totally wrong because you're entitled. Sometimes people have an opinion which is a load of rubbish. Okay, I'm not really saying that. Oh, so all right. So Nathan is their mod. I didn't want to say anything, Ali. I didn't want to say anything, but it sounds like let Nathan go. I've already blocked one other person on this tonight. Let Nathan go. This one thing I'll say: when you've got a big support behind you, like 200,000 people on Twitter and whatever. You can say almost anything and people, give you likes and retweets. And you can have a Twitter spat with somebody else and you'll get a lot of people piling in on your side because you've got that big support.
Well, I remember when I used to listen to a bit of Esteemed Company and he had a bit of a run-in with Thug Dad, whatever it is, the two guys, Thugden. Yeah. And obviously he was getting crap for ages from his, obviously because they got a massive following, haven't they, compared to Stephen. And it's sad, really. It's all to do with something. It's all to do with not answering a question or something pathetic. You know what I mean? And it just annoyed me from that aspect of it, that people can use that and then use their followers to, and encourage it as well. And that's what was happening at the time. And it's such a shame. I mean, we're all football fans. It shouldn't come to this. Sometimes you agree to do something for someone and you might just forget or something happens and you just got to get on with it. All right, it didn't mean anything by it. We'll just move on and carry on regardless.
I'll be quite honest with you, okay? Yeah. As I'm getting older, I get forgetful. I remember I agreed to go on someone's channel to help them out last year. Totally forgot. And I had to apologize and blah, blah, blah. And I went on to do something another time. But it happens. I've got it's like I have so much going on. I was arranging something for next week. And then, fortunately, I hadn't arranged it. And I got a message from my dentist. I've got a dental appointment next week. And I'm trying to book some stuff in a school. And I could have, it's easy to get these. And I don't know why it's not in my diary. My kids' appointment's there, but mine isn't. But it's just one of those things. You forget things. And look, I will say, I'm not having a pop at anybody, but I'm just, on a similar vein, when Andy and me had a spat with Stephen, he had a massive Twitter following compared to us. And we got a lot of pile-on. And he was quite happy for that to happen. He didn't ask them to stop doing it. And there's a lot of abuse. And so, and I'm pretty sure, I'll say this openly, if I had a big base and my base attacked somebody, it's 50-50 whether I'd ask them to stop. If the right thing to do is say, look, don't make it personal, don't go too far. But there's also, if you're the guy with a big following, there's there's a part of you that will probably take some pleasure in it, which is.
Can I just someone at CTID12? You're encouraging it by doing this stream right now. Bit hypocritical, Burn. What am I being? I can't understand what I'm being hypocritical about. Can you confirm what? Just tell me what I'm supposed to be in hypocritical. I'm just stating opinions and views of other things happening. I don't understand what the.
I actually don't know what you're encouraging.
Yeah, I don't know what this. I don't know what he's getting at. CTID12. Can you just confirm what you're talking about, mate? I don't know what I'm being hypocritical about.
So I'll say this: there are people in here who are regulars who have a difference of opinion to us, and there's no issue. But then there's the odd people who have just turned up out of the blue, who are saying odd things, and you do wonder. Fortunately, over the years, a lot of the people who used to set. I think you had some of this. I had plenty of that, where you had people setting up accounts, getting blocked, and maybe banned by Twitter, by YouTube, and then setting up an account again. And we used to, I used to laugh to say, we did some analysis once. I did some analysis, and I remember there was a video. I put a video out, and it was a couple of days old, and it was about something that happened on a day. So it might have been a player ratings or whatever it was. It was specific, and it was not one of these subjects that you can watch the video a few days later and it's worth watching. It's something specific to a period of time. And if I do a video on, for instance, I do the video on Sami Nasri. Well, I can watch that today. I can watch it in a month's time. It's a historical thing, so it's not something that I need to watch immediately. And so I was looking at my analysis, and suddenly this video had a load of views. Oh, what's going on here? That video should be, after 2 days, dying out. Nobody should really be looking at that anymore. And I looked at it, and basically I would get 3 views a minute or 2 views a minute over a period of about 7 minutes. And it was just, obviously someone was logging in, dislike, logging out, logging in, dislike, logging out. So for almost a day, there's hardly any views. And then suddenly in this 7-minute period, you got all this. So people do all sorts of stuff for all sorts of reasons. Mr. Roloff, I'll quickly tell you what happened. Look, most of it, I think, people, it seems to be the people who are more annoyed and frustrated with this are the older fans who've been there. I think this is a thing as well. We've been there when City were very, very poor. Now you've got a younger breed of fans. I would suggest if you're less than 20 years old, you've pretty much only seen City winning. So if you've been following City for the last 12 years, if you're around 20, you've pretty much only seen City winning. Okay. Now, basically, we drew Peterborough in the cup. The guy said, "What is a Peterborough? Who is a Peterborough? Where is a Peterborough? Where is this football club?" Then he checked it out. He said, "The Posh are in the Championship and they're 22nd out of 24. Oh, these are shit. Oh, these are bad guys. These are bad." And I just think the Peterborough fans didn't like the end of that. And the old City fans didn't like the end of that, because we know where I still think this, I'm pretty sure we know where we came from. And I think that's important, to know where you came from. I remember when City beat United 5-1 at Old Trafford. Do you remember that, Bernard? Oh, I'm only reading that now. Yeah. And I remember my dad went out and bought me load of T-shirts to celebrate, because they were making loads of T-shirts to celebrate that City had beaten United 5-1. United didn't do that to City because they were winning all the time, but we beat them 5-1. And I remember having T-shirts of, I can't remember now, because it was that long ago. It's probably over 40 years ago. And, I had one where United were a chicken or something, and we were grabbing them by the neck. We beat them 5-1. Yeah. My dad went to town and bought me loads of these T-shirts. Anyway, let's see what CTI does. You're saying about someone getting crap on Twitter and that it's such a shame, as we're all football fans. The same applies in this situation.
Yeah, but I'm not giving the City Xtra crap. I'm just saying I don't agree with what he's saying. I'm not giving anyone crap. I like the lad. I just think he was out of order because it's upset a lot of people. I don't agree with his opinion, and we're all entitled to our opinion. And as I say, I was talking about Thug and Steve, and they had a spat. I'm not saying who was right and who was wrong, and they use obviously other people getting involved and causing problems and stuff like this. So I don't think I was hypocritical in any way. I'm just saying the City Extra guy can do what he wants. He can. All we've done is we've got a subject that's caused a lot of thing, and I could have said I agree with him. I totally agree with him, but I don't agree. I don't agree with what he said. I thought it was unfair with what he said about. If he said it about United, I would have totally agreed. It's a level. It's a level of who we're talking about. And banter's banter, but there's a certain level you can go up to as well.
I will suggest one thing, Bernard, and guys, go with me on this. I will suggest one thing. If you'd said that the City Extra guy, you agree with him, do you think Nathan and CTI Die 12 would have criticised you? No,
because they don't. Yeah, that's
because they've got a different opinion. So because they've got a different opinion, they're having a pop, which is.
I will defend his right to say what he thinks. I just thought it was a bit unfair on a smaller team, which Peterborough are. They're a smaller team, a smaller fan base and everything. It's just a bit from our high perch. It's a bit cruel.
I'll say it till I die. Before I block you, because I'm going to say this in the politest way possible. You're an ass. Okay? And you can take that to the hill. You're an ass. Who's comparing it to racism and sexism? You know, the guys. Look, unfortunately, you get. Okay. Unfortunately, you get ignorant and illiterate people who want to make a comment and think they're clever. And they come out looking like I don't want to keep going down. I was going to swap it from ass to the front end, but there's a limit. There's a limit to CTI died 12. There has to be a limit to your stupidity. But I don't want to be here when we find out when that is. So sorry, mate. Opinions allowed, asses not. You know me. I'm a blocker. I'm sorry, mate. He just wanted to have a pop. He just wanted to have a pop because he's got a difference of opinion for whatever reason. Okay. And I said, come on with the difference of opinion. The young kids have got a different opinion to us, which is they're entitled to it. We don't have to agree with it. But coming out and saying rubbish about you and talking about sexism, maybe he is, Harry. Then he shouldn't be on this channel because we say this channel.
People hear what they want to hear, and I don't know where they get it from sometimes, just to make it look as though it's correct.
Yeah, and thing is, it's done in a way to try and make other people look bad. Well, Bernard, I've got to say, you're one of the most gentlest, nicest blokes these days. Maybe you're not when you were younger. That I've come across on with all the people I've met. So it's just crazy. It is just crazy. Look, maybe CTI is 12, as Harry says. Maybe he wet his pants and he's taking it out on us. I don't know. I don't know. It's just crazy. But look, they've had over 1 million views. Okay, 1 million views on Twitter. Do you honestly think the 20 odd people who are watching it right now are going to make a difference? Honestly, all right, we've had 117 views on this stream. It doesn't make that any difference, really. There's the guys have got over 1 million, and they do it for views. They do it. Some of it they're happy with the controversy. They do it for views. So they've had the 1 million. I don't think they care about our 170. Why are people bothered about it?
I bet 99% of what they say is fine with me if I watch their programs. I find it very funny. But if you just disagree with 1% of what they say, doesn't at the end of the day, that's what life is. I can't agree with it. You can't agree with Ever all the time. You've got to actually sometimes have your own opinion, and obviously it's weird, isn't it? I mean, in my opinion, he was wrong to say it. In my opinion, he's right on a lot of stuff he says, because I think he's quite funny, the lad. I think I used to find him entertaining. I just don't have the time to watch him now, so I never watch him, and I wouldn't have watched this unless people had reposted it. I wouldn't have known anything about it. But I still agree with 99% of what he says. Yeah. But obviously, this 1%, I didn't agree with it. I think it's wrong for me.
My idea for today was to talk about the people who are signing new contracts. I'll just quickly mention it because I think it's been a good week. Cancelo signed a new contract. McAtee signed a new contract and told us that he's a Man City fan when we were worried he was because his family were United. Was it Josh Wilson Esbrand? Was it Josh? Is that his name? Or Wilson Esbrand? Forgot his first name. He signed a new contract extension. There's talk that Sterling will. There's talk that Gundogan will. There's talk that
Bernardo, hopefully.
Bernardo as well. And there's someone else as well. I'm trying to remember now. Someone who has Rodri as well. I was reading. So, and we talk, so that's what I was actually going to talk about today. All these people who are young, and a lot of them are young. Most of them are young. I mean, Gundogan's the oldest, but they're signing extensions to 2026, 2027. And it's only a good thing. It's only a good thing. Yeah, McAtee's a City fan now. But the thing is, he's been here since he was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And so that happens. He's been here long enough for it to be for him to become a City fan. We talked about Ferran Torres. He hadn't been here long enough, and he came at an age where he's already made his allegiances to Barcelona or whatever. But the great thing right now is a lot of these players are coming through, and this is what I said many years ago when we were building the academy. This is what will happen. We will get a conveyor belt of quality young kids coming through who are City fans, and they'll give everything. And there's who's to say in 5 years' time we don't have a forward line of Foden, McAtee, and Delap.
Yeah, well, Kieran wanted to know if we wanted Kane or Haaland. I'd say neither. I'd say neither.
You just spoiled my punchline. We will have a forward line of Foden, Delap, and McAtee. Can you imagine that forward line? And Haaland will be on the bench. Can you imagine that, guys?
Haaland on the bench, Kieran. There you go. You've heard it. You've heard it here, mate.
They'll be keeping Haaland on the bench. But can you? But it's one of those things. Can you? Is it something that you've dreamed of to have 4 or 5 local lads, City fans, playing for the first team? Yeah.
Well, in a way, I mean, you think of the class of, was it 92, the Rags 92? I mean, I assume most of them were United fans from a young age. I mean, it worked, didn't it? With the help of a couple of big buys here and there, obviously. It wasn't all the 92 guys. Of course it wasn't. You can't win anything with kids, but you can if you've got some old heads with them as well.
Yeah, good head. Well, Keane there as well. Roy Keane was there. Yeah. Beckham was, he was not young then, but Keane, and then
Ferdinand brought him in, didn't they, at some stage to that team and stuff like that.
They had some good players and some big money signings, so they did well. Guys, we're going to let it go. To be honest, I thought we'd be on for 15 minutes. Like that. When I put it out there, I said 10 or 15 minutes. I thought I'd be on that. I've got to go and sort some stuff out with the missus. I thought, I'll be 10 minutes. But unlike the podcast, she said, she said to me yesterday, no more podcasts in bed. Sitting there recording for an hour and a half in bed.
I don't blame her, mate. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, so no, I think sometimes she walks in the room and I'm sat there. See, it's easy. It's better than coming to the studio. Since we're not filming it, if we're filming it, it's different to come to the studio. Guys, gotta say a big up to Bernard for coming on tonight. Are you working tomorrow, mate?
No, I'm off tomorrow. I'm actually at the moment. I'm doing my little script on 1971-72 season. I've stopped doing it to come on here, so I'll go back to that for another hour before I go to bed.
And I'll finish up by saying what Michael Feeney said. He said, "I'm disappointed by some of the disrespect shown by our younger supporters. I have been a City supporter for 41 years, never showing disrespect to any club. That's just me." And hi,
Michael. Let me just say hello to Michael. Great lad, Michael.
Yeah, and that's the truth. You don't want it thrown at you, so it's you don't want people to treat you with your club with disrespect. So why treat theirs? Unless you're Man United. I say fair enough.
No, sorry. If it had been said about Liverpool or United, we would have just agreed with them and no problem whatsoever. But
if it's said about Arsenal or
anybody, any Tottenham, you name it, it doesn't matter.
But I think
that's banter. But this wasn't particularly banter. It was just a bit horrible. Just a bit horrible in my mind. Just a bit nasty. No need for it. You think to this very quickly the Swindon game where there's a lot of respect between Swindon and City on and off the pitch, and this is sort of muddied this already even before it started.
What you don't want is it to cause enmity and anger from the Peterborough fans, and for some of them to want to take it further, because you do get that.
Yeah.
Some of them will want to take it further. You know, we saw, you might have seen the video of the Leicester fans attacking the coffee shop in Nottingham.
Yeah.
You know, redoing their feng shui with the decorations and the furniture. You know, lobbing the tables at windows and stuff. It's disgraceful. You know, so if someone's throwing pies and stuff, look, guys, end of the day, it's a game of footy. You know, and it's not worth it. You know, we're supposed to have grown up, and we should be past this. But unfortunately, people keep muddying the waters and sullying themselves. But anyway, Bernard, thanks for coming on, mate. Hopefully we'll speak again soon, anytime. And you guys, thank you for joining us. Take care, look after yourselves, and what's this capital casual? Just when you're about to go, these youth watch too many Hooli films. Hooli, I don't know what Hooli means. I hope it means hooligan, you know.
Nothing to do with skirts.
Oh, Bernard, always rely on you to bring the tone. It's usually me. Bernard brings the tone to where it should be, the Hooli skirt.
Hooli skirt.
Cheers, guys. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Michael. Cheers, guys.
It's your comment, honestly, guys, it's your comments that, you know, besides talking to your mates on screen, it's your comments and the positiveness and the fun we have together that keeps me coming back, even when I think, right, I've got a lot of work to do. I've got, you know, I've been up to Harrogate today and back. I've been working. I'm doing a new show. I've got a new show premieres in 2 weeks, and we're writing it and starting to do the performance and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm up to me. Well,
I've seen the show, guys. It's shit.
See, I'd have taken that personally. Except I know it's great. But see, that's banter. Okay, I'm going to get rid of you now. Anyway, guys, take care.
Thanks, later, guys.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon.